for having us. Thanks to Pierce RV for having Rama. I'm Steve. This is Greg. Just going to go over a few basics on tire maintenance, tire pressure, tire age, the biggest item that we have, and any kind of questions we have. We definitely want to have anybody that's watching online type in the questions that they would have, and we'll try to answer them. So today, I guess the most important item in tires that we're finding out is tire age. And we're going to explain to you or show you how you can find the age of your tire. I'm not sure if you know how.
Well, I know there's a number, but I'm not certain that
there is a number. On the side of every tire that's manufactured, is the DOT number, Department of Transportation number. I took the liberty of cutting some of those off of tires so that I could illustrate. The DOT number will have generally 11 digits. The first few mean nothing. Go to the right. It's only on one side of the tire. You're going to have to look, it may be on the inside, but there'll be 4 digits. 09, 09, 0915. It'll be 4 digits. The first two, the week of manufacture. The 09 is the 9th week of the year. The next two is the year. So if the 0909 is built in the 9th week, which would be February, early March of 09, 2009. Now if there's 3 digits, only 3 numbers, we're going back a few years, back in the 80s or 90s. So in that era, we didn't know actually what year they were actually made. It could have been 79, 89, or 99. If it's an 09, 9, it was made the 9th week of 99 or 89. You know, so age is the biggest factor we're seeing right now on RVs, trailers, anything that sits a lot. You're not going to wear the tire out. It'd be nice if you could.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you wear a tire out.
You know, a day like today, beautiful day, let's get out camping, let's do something. But if you see a tire that's 5 years old plus, we want you to be thinking about new tires. So that,
Now, on a tire of that age, let's just say on an RV, because I get this question a lot, on used RVs. Tread's great, looks great. It's 5 years old, 6 years old, sometimes older than that on a tire. What potentially is the danger going down the road on an aged tire? I mean, obviously I know you can blow, but we see all kinds of stuff come through here where they tear up the wiring and they go, I mean, when they come apart sometimes, they really come apart.
sure. So
So
look,
more tires are a lot cheaper than the repairs that you're gonna have to do.
Right, a lot of that.
Yep. So the question is for the audience here, what happens with aged tires? What can happen? What may happen? Aged tires that sit, dry out quicker. It's why they call it dry rot. Tires that move stay more lubricated. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's anything that can be supple needs to move to stay supple. Rubber is one of them. The huge issue of a tire blowing in an RV, you take a look at a tire blowing here, it's a beautiful unit. You're going to do damage to the exterior, and the chance the flap of that tire, the tread of that tire coming around, while it's still semi-attached to the casing, just coming around, just taking things out. You've got your electrical, you've got plumbing, possibly gas line, so really want to be cognizant of tire age, which leads right into the second issue then is tire pressure, especially on those older tires. If there's a question about it, age is one, tire pressure is number 2. That's something you can hear every day. Check them. We're going to give you a gauge today. You should always have a gauge. Your tow vehicle on 5th wheels, the tires on the unit itself, any of your bigger RVs with the 22.5 or 24.5, gotta have that pressure in them. That is the biggest factor of seeing rubber laying on the side of the road.
That
Recaps are, but generally even a recap, the only reason it's gone down, it's lost air. You can't prevent You cannot prevent an object from entering your tire while you're going down the road. But I mean, diligence, your vehicle, your newer vehicles are going to have your tire pressure monitor system. But if you have the adequate mirrors, you know, that you can look back, you should be looking at least once a minute to see what those tires are, if you can see. Just be aware, definitely aware. Your RV tires, especially your tow vehicles, your trailer tires, have a max pressure. The max pressure should be attained. Cold max pressure will save you a lot of heartache. Your tow vehicle,
You need cold
cold.
before you've been running the tire.
Before you've run the tire and warmed it up,
Okay.
check your tire pressure.
Not necessarily the temperature outside.
Correct. Whatever the ambient temperature is, today it's going to be 80 degrees.
Okay.
You're going to check your tires on this vehicle right here. It's going to be 80 pounds, should be 80 pounds. A week from now, if it's 50 degrees, you're going to be 3 pounds low, maybe 4 pounds. You're going to lose a pressure for every 8 to 10 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Or you're going to gain if it's warmer.
Okay.
You're leaving Montana
Yeah.
and you're going south for the winter. You leave here in October and it's 50. When you get down there, your tire pressure is going to be 4 to 5 pounds high. So,
And it will raise as you travel.
Yeah.
You know, the more that tire's running in circles back there, it's gonna elevate your tire pressure.
Guy who's finicky rest of it, that could go crazy checking the tires.
well, you can. And, you know, there's a limit to how many times you can check the tire pressures, but
Right.
you know, you're gonna leave here. Your destination's 500 miles away. Check before you go. You get there, you're fine. Check before you leave. You know, there's a lot of distance between you and your point of destination. So, tire pressure is important. Yes, sir.
Don't forget the spare tire.
Your spare tire, yeah. That's the one that's going to get you where you're going.
That's right.
That's hanging on the back or kind of hiding somewhere. Yes. Your spare tire pressure and age also is huge.
Is there a differential between your steering axle, your drive axle, and your tag axle? And tire pressure, or should they all be the same?
The question the gentleman has is tire pressure on your steer tire. You're talking about a bigger motorhome. Your steer tire, your drive axle, and your tag. Greg's
They all the same size,
Yeah,
all the same size,
all the same plan.
all the same size. They should all be the same pressure. That thing is gonna support, you know, much weight in the front. On one axle, you're gonna have two axles in the back, so you're gonna have three tires. Like you got two drive sets, you got two of them.
No,
Okay, one says drive, one tag.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, you want them all at the same pressure. And actually, your coach will have it just like the automobile does. There'll be a sticker inside your placard inside your door that says where that manufacturer wants your tires.
But I think when they were set up at the dealer, and it wasn't Pierce, it was in Tennessee, but the fact is that they set them up, the tag was at one pressure, the drive was at another pressure, and the steering axle, and I can give you it,
So it must be on the weight to where the weight bearing on your motorhome is.
That's how the distribution of weight is throughout the code, because you're 110 in the front, 95 on the drive, and 85 on the tags. And that's the way they set it up.
Is there a placard that states that?
Well, I don't know, but I've got a monitoring system that it's actually calibrated to those pressures.
Okay, so it was set up that way. When they built it, they knew what weight was going to be put on each axle. Yeah. Otherwise, defer back to what Greg said.
Okay.
Equal. If there's no indication or no placard, no whatever your system is, then just go back to equal.
Because everything's getting more sophisticated, the newer you get, you know, on your vehicle. So.
Because this monitoring system is some kind of a coil wrapped around the ground, where it keeps track of pressure and heat. And then
Is yours auto air too then?
no,
Okay.
it's not. It's not, but it has that feature in it, so you get a light if you get a variance too much, plus or minus say 5 pounds. But heat plays into that, so as you're going down the road, it's monitoring heat and
Heat up the brakes.
no, heat.
So have you know the tires, if you get a low tire, does it heat up for you then? Is that how it works for it?
Yes. And when it gets
It's like
out of
outfit.
variance, then all the lights and whistles and bells start acting.
That way it knows that you're not gonna tear up the battery anymore.
Yeah. Well, I've driven these fifth wheels and I've had a tire come off and you're right about on time. They do some damage.
Yeah, because I don't think you can just reskin just a section of this thing. You guys probably know that.
That's easy.
You gotta put a piece on it to match, so.
Yeah. Well, when you take the whole cowling out on the wheel, you got,
Yeah, that happens every time. Most every time the tire does slow, the destruction that it causes.
and they'll damage the floors and all that. Same thing.
So we definitely want to go into the tire ply. You know what the ply of a tire is. It's finding, making sure that you stay within what the manufacturer put on there, or go above. Some of these smaller trailers, littler trailers will maybe come with an 8-ply. Definitely stick with the 8, but you can move up to a 10. There's going to be a lot of manufacturers who make a 6, an 8, and a 10-ply. We're going to eliminate the 6, or the 8, sorry. It's just redundancy. The 6 holds almost everything. If the 8 held it, the 10 definitely will. So they're going to move away from the 8 plies. We're going to go to 10. So we can move up. On the side of the tire, it will say load range C. C is 6-ply. It's the alphabet letter times 2. C is the third letter times 2 is 6-ply. Load range D is an 8-ply. E is 10. It just goes up the alphabet. Your mobile home, your motor home probably has a G, maybe an 8.
I'd have 8.
Well, there's 16
Have 8.
Yeah. So it's the H, which is the 8-digit times 2. That's 16 ply.
I never knew that.
Yep. They don't say,
16.
well, because back in the day, and you'll know, we're all old enough, in the bias ply, they put 6 plies in there. They put 10 plies in there. Now it's load range 10E. They don't actually put that in there. With the new rayon, the new Kevlar, or whatever, they don't need 10 actual plies of twine. You know, it's just an example. The materials now are so much stronger. They don't actually need 10 plies. Or the load range is equal to what it used to be 50 years ago. So, or 20. But, and they're still available. Those bias ply tires are still available. It's old school. They pull harder. They warm up more. You know, we don't sell very many of those.
You good?
Yep. Yep. Are you with the seminar?
Well, I came in here, I
Right on. So
I hope I
what
didn't
size-
miss nothing. I was kind of wanting to
What size shirt do you wear?
see what you had to say about wheel covers, you know, when
Okay.
you store your vehicle and stuff like
Okay.
that.
What size T-shirt do you wear?
Huh?
What size T-shirt do you wear?
Extra large.
Extra large.
Extra large size.
Oh,
There you go.
thank you.
So to your question, there's going to be a little bit more about wheel covers here in a bit.
Oh,
In-
okay.
In our opinion, cover it if you can. If you can get the sun off, cover it. Whether it's a cover, a piece of plywood, a tree, whatever you can get, cover it. Tires still age. We talked about that in the very beginning. No matter what, ozone ages tires. And the worst thing for tires is sitting. It's like a battery. Anything you use often, it lasts longer.
So another question with tires there, you know, putting wheel covers on, keeping it out of the elements, you know, as much as possible. What about underneath the tire? Like I'm getting that, you know, putting it on, say a 2x12, you
Yep.
know, keep your tires off, not touching the ground, you know what I
Correct.
mean?
Well, the greatest would be to jack it up and put it on sand.
Well, my dad always said, jack it up, Leave it in the air and then.
Well, you know, when I'm not using it, I always have it in the air and no weight on it. You know, I mean, there is some to a
Right.
point, you know, but
Right.
You're one of the few still that do it.
You know, most people just pull it alongside the garage, park it there, maybe cover the one set of tires that are sticking out. You know, it just sits in the dirt. Or they'll put a piece of plywood under there. One thing you want to be careful of, I wouldn't put treated wood under it. If treating that wood, we're not exactly sure what it's going to do react with the tire.
oh, really?
Yes. I wouldn't use treated that touches the tire. Treated maybe underneath if you could put two, but I wouldn't put the treated wood up against the tire for the winter.
Leaning up like that.
Well, underneath.
Oh,
You
so
take
they
a-
set on.
Yeah,
kinda.
you take a 2x6 that's treated for outdoor, that's not gonna rot as quick as a regular. I wouldn't put that on the ground and the tire directly on it. That treat is a chemical that.
So it may react to the rubber.
Exactly.
Okay.
Not,
And to a point, you guys sell the nice little orange leveling things.
To set the tires on.
Thus the water will go through that. It can sit on that wood if you leave that there like that. And
You know, because like, you know, wintertime, it's mine, I got a little RV spot. And then snow removal, well,
snow and stuff.
some of it, I got too big of a driveway, and some of it goes over where the trailer is, and usually it's like that, you know, and tires are covered, and, you know,
Yeah, but definitely, I would think even to have it so your moisture can go through that plastic block, that plastic leveler.
I mean, it sets on rock, you know.
right, a little bit of
Crushed
gravel.
gravel,
Yeah,
rock, and fabric underneath that, so, I mean, it's not like setting on dirt, you know. But,
But come spring then, you know, because that tire's been sitting flat in that spot for quite some time, it might take a little while for that flat spot to,
to roll out.
yeah, especially, it needs to warm up, it needs to roll a bit to
Yeah.
get, you know, and where those ply or those cords have been sitting there at that angle, you know, there can be a point where that can start an issue down the road,
Yeah.
years down the road.
What causes tires to turn white if they sit on concrete? Like in Arizona, I'll lay my motorhome on a concrete pad, and all of a sudden the tires are white.
Coming up the tire? I don't know what would cause that. I really don't know that. You know, there's lime. That's the biggest component in cement. And lime could migrate. I don't know if it's going to migrate up the side of a tire. I couldn't answer that.
Because I've got to where I use a real thin little piece of particle board or whatever just to keep that whiteness from going up the
Yeah.
tire.
Any,
It'll turn as white as that.
Yeah, I've never heard that.
I've never seen anything like that either.
anything that you can eliminate that has any kind of chemical, any kind of like lime in a cement, anything you can keep away from those tires. Fuel, gasoline, diesel fuel. You know, for some reason you spill and it's whatever and you're parked on it, get it off of it. It will soften that rubber up. It's not good for it.
Yeah.
So anything you can keep those and keep them clean. They like clean too, you know. You don't know what's in the dirt you're driving on. You know, you don't know what kind of chemicals have been sprayed on the highway.
Right.
These new motorhomes, all of them have beautiful wheels on it. That stuff they spray on the streets in the winter, the de-ice, will hit that.
Calcium chloride.
Calcium chloride.
That's what they used to put in tractor tires, wasn't it?
It's pretty much the same thing.
Still
So,
do
And it ate them up.
so you leave Montana and you're going over Monida, heading south, and they've de-iced that. As soon as you get down in your warm climate, clean this thing off, your vehicle, your RV, the tires, get all that stuff out underneath everything, because you know even your jacks, you know, can get pitted and rusty. So that really doesn't have a lot to do with the tires, but it's just you know it's a highway issue. Maintenance, maintenance. You know, these are expensive items. They're beautiful. They're nice. You know,
Those tires are expensive too.
tires are
Especially for yours.
they are
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Inflation, we talked about that a little bit, but let's say you buy one of these bigger fifth wheels, comes with a 10-ply tire. A lot of people now are going to the all steel 14-ply, heavy tires, 100 pounds of air pressure. You're used to 80 pounds. We got to be careful if we do that. Most of these wheels are not rated for the 100 pounds. Some
Air
are.
pressure.
Air
Yeah.
pressure,
The rims ain't, but the tires are.
correct.
Yeah.
A lot of your wheels are stamped on the backside, but the wheel will actually hold pressure.
Like mine, tires are on the trailer, I think it's 50 pounds.
Yeah, so I'll mount a set of tires on an RV, and I will explain that we cannot do that, but the side of the tire still says max pressure, 100 pounds, and somebody's gonna come along and
For the 100 pounds.
Yeah,
100
because that's the
pounds.
first thing you read.
Yep, yep, so we just gotta be careful if you do that, be diligent on your part, don't let anybody else do it. I don't know.
Wheel rating. Wheels aren't rated for that much pressure.
You know, in the best case, should buy a new set of wheels to handle those 100-pound tires. Wheel bearings and maintenance, I know, that's something everybody should do. I don't know what your maintenance schedule is. Is it,
You guys do the wheel bearing pack
Oh,
and
yes.
stuff here? So
Yes.
how often?
Well, the manufacturer of an axle for, now I'm talking towables, recommend you repack your bearings every year.
Every year.
Doesn't matter if you've used it or not.
Yep,
What about sealed?
Really on travel trailers.
That's what the like Dexter axles, the actual manufacturers, that's what they recommend.
we kind of promote that also. We're kind of going every other year for trailers, every year for boat trailers. Those that get dumped in the water.
Yeah, something gets in the water.
If you're dumping that boat in the water, that trailer in the water, you should replace those in the fall. Get that moisture out of those axles and bearings so it doesn't sit there all winter. You take your boat down to the lake, do a few things. Take 15 minutes, transfer your cooler, your food, whatever it is, get your boat cover off. Try to let that sit as long as you can before you dump it in the water. Those bearings are going to be warm, the grease is warm. Warm grease, warm bearings, cool water wants to suck that water in there. So if you can let it sit 15 minutes, 20 minutes, as long as you can before you dump in the water, it helps from that water trying to migrate into that warm area. So do that, do your maintenance. Nobody wants to be on the side of the road with a spindle ground off because we have a bearing issue.
Yeah, my trailer
No
now,
tire.
Yes.
I've never done the bearings. And it's got to be 3 years old.
But aren't these
Three.
new ones
It's
seal
due.
bearings?
What's that?
Aren't they seal bearings in these newer trailers like this one?
Some have that, but again, most don't.
What the rest-
Most don't. Majority don't have sealed. Like the GM hubs and stuff.
Oh, and closed
When you
bearing.
get to high end stuff, you have that. You're right.
Because even my motorhomes got just like the cement.
Motorhomes are different. That's a different story.
Here's your oil bath.
Oil
Yep, yep. Which, in that case, you have a sight glass. You just want to make sure that oil level's at the level that it states there. There's a little line there that, yeah, just below the plug that you can take out to put oil in there.
But your drive axle is totally different animal. Tag and your steering axle is like this.
Right. So it is about maintenance. Wherever you do it yourself. You bring it to your RV dealer, an independent somewhere. You just need to stay on top of it. It's with anything. And when you take care of it, it takes care of you. Wheel nut torque. You take, you're going down the road, you get a flat. You put your spare on, hopefully it's got no bear. Make sure you torque that lug nut down properly. The new wheel that you have on there has got a nice paint job on it. So there's going to be a film of paint between your lug nut and your wheel. Doesn't seem like much, but it is. So once you put that spare on, drive 25 miles, 35. Somewhere you know is a good place to pull out, check it again, tighten it up. Make sure it's on there properly. Most people have a star wrench. Your
Yeah,
handles are
that's
this
what I
long.
carry in mine.
You got 12 inches, 12 inches of torque to put that on it. I'm not saying you have to put a 3-foot cheater bar on there and have mom jump on it, type of deal. You know, but a good firm torque, drive it to 25, 30 miles, get out, check it again. We don't want that coming off for you or for somebody that's coming towards you. Ugly situation. So always check that. In the spring, bring it by, bring it to somebody. Get a torque wrench or check them. Firm firm tight, just to make sure they're good, along with that tire pressure.
I gotta go, you guys, because I can get one long and
Well, your bigger semi,
400, 400 PSI.
We torque with 475. It gives us just the way the specs are on the torque wrench, it's 25 either way, so you're right there. That's what it needs to be.
And you, a little foot wrench won't do that.
no,
No, it's ours is about 5 foot wide.
that's big.
Yeah.
Along with that, you want to make sure that your tow vehicle, and you're pulling a fifth wheel, no different. I mean, you need to maintain that the same. You put a spare on it, and you're hauling all that extra weight. Drive that 20, 25 miles, check that spare, make sure it's on there snug also. Your dualies, a lot of them are dualies. Whenever you're working with the rear of a dually, you're going to put those wheels back on. If some debris gets between those two duals, a little grain of sand, a little pebble, something that may fall from above if you've been in the dirt, if you're wrestling those tires on there, something falls between there, you're going to have an issue. So drive at that 20, 25 miles, stop, tighten it up again. We don't want an issue. It's just common sense, but just one of those things we need to do. Your tow vehicles, we're going to go back to tow vehicle. I know Pierce here has them. There's a lot of people that do, but you take a 35-foot fifth wheel like this, you put it on a nice big 3/4 ton, 1 ton pickup, you're gonna lower that rear end. First and foremost, you're gonna take away a little bit of your steering. You're gonna have your headlights bobbing up at everybody, and you're just not gonna be comfortable. You're gonna have a little bit of sway. The fifth wheel is centered in your vehicle, so it's not as bad as a tongue, bumper pull. But get some airbags. Put some airbags in the back of that vehicle. Get that thing leveled back up. You'd be amazed at how much better it drives.
I noticed I got equalizer
Yep.
on bumper pull. If I don't have them on, I mean, the front end is squirrely, but boy, and then you tighten them babies up. I mean, it's like all one unit. I mean, it still squats a little bit, but it doesn't do like it does without it.
Yeah,
That was another question on the equalizers. How tight is too tight?
Everything's supposed to be level. You're doing
The
everything to
trailer's
level.
supposed to be level.
The truck, the trailer, and the bars are all level. That's how tight you want it. Now, it's not perfect. Like they say, every coach, every
So,
tow vehicle's different, but
you
you
know,
want everything to be level.
For instance, the way I can get, because you just can't hook that chain up and pull, okay? I gotta put the hitch down. After it's hooked on the truck, put the hitch down, pick them both up, so it's kind of like this, then hook the stabilizer on to where I can get the length that I need,
Right. You're doing
lock
right.
it, and then lower it back down. That's the only way I can get them on.
You're doing it the right way.
There's only so much you can get out of those bars.
Yeah.
Humanly.
Well, they say that it's rated for 1,000 pounds, but you know what? You're putting a bunch on it,
Well, that's tongue weight. It's
Yeah.
1,000 pounds of tongue weight.
Yeah,
But you're doing it the right way, using your tongue
jack.
jack to do it. You're doing
So
it
I
right.
mean, I could actually go a little tighter to try to level my truck out.
Yes, sir. If your truck's not level yet, you
Well,
need to
I
go.
mean, it squats a little bit.
Right.
I mean, it's a half ton,
Like I say, it's not going to be perfect, but you're trying to get the
But
truck and the
trailer's
trailer
level.
is level. Truck is what you're trying to level, not so much a trailer.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the other
No,
way.
you're trying to get
Try
that
to
truck
keep that
level, so all the
trailer
weight
level.
is being distributed back to the front axle equal to the rear axle. It's like they're saying, what you're doing, you took all the weight off your front end and you're going like this, and then you go down the road like this.
Yeah.
You're trying to put that weight back on the front axle.
Yeah, those newer owners, that haven't done this are kind of new to it. You jump one of these big ones on there, you're gonna have some float in that front end, especially if you're driving on a 2-lane highway.
That's right.
They all got their little dips and stuff it's gonna want to travel up and out of. You're not gonna enjoy it. It's not gonna be a pleasant drive.
When I got them set tight, I mean, go through a dip or something, it's like it's all one unit.
That's right.
I mean, it doesn't go like this and squirrely. It just
Yep.
And you're doing,
And I pull fast.
you're proper.
I mean, it's like I'm driving a car, you know, down the road. It's
Okay, so
75, 80 miles an hour.
fast is another factor. That was-
Yeah, I know.
That's right here, right now. Speed does kill.
I know.
Speed is heat. The
Yeah.
more these tires flex, anything that flexes, you take a paper clip, you flex it, it's gonna get hot. Tires are the same thing. There's all kinds of movement going on there. That's why we want tire pressure where it is. If you got a low tire, it's gonna flex. Flex creates heat, heat creates air pressure. That's when they blow. So in amongst the being able to tow it easier with the air pressure, it's not heating up. But speed now, even if you have your air pressure proper, it's just trailer tires are not a speed item.
Yeah.
Your car tires are, your pickup tires are, we all know. Your speedometer goes to 110. They get that. But your tow vehicles aren't. In fact, some of them even have a speed rating. It's 65.
I've never read anything speed limit, but you know, I'm on the interstate, I do the speed limit.
Yes, and you will, which is
Yeah.
fine.
I do too.
Huh?
Just
I
be,
do the speed limit too.
I mean, I don't do no 80, 90, you know, but
just be aware.
sometimes, you know what? I got a little good start here down this hill and it's gonna help me get up on the other end, you know.
You know, someday their manufacturer might make a speed rated trailer tire, and I think they could do really well.
You know, and then like my vehicles, and motorcycles, nitrogen. So that would probably be a good idea in them trailers to reduce heat is nitrogen.
It doesn't hurt a thing. Doesn't hurt a thing. But just don't forget that when you're going down a hill, you got a big one behind you.
Oh yeah.
Anything happens in front of you, you know, thank God for trailer brakes, but it's still not gonna,
No, it won't shut you down.
yeah, still not gonna roll you in time to. So speed is a factor, even in your view.
I never go over 65, even on the interstate, because I'm towing a half-ton Ford pickup behind it. And so
Yeah.
the total weight between those is right at 50 pounds.
A lot of mass. A lot of mass going down the highway.
I'm worried about tire pressure on the tow vehicle, and I've got the system.
On your tow vehicle too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you just need to know when you're blowing.
You
Because
do.
you ain't gonna see it.
You're not gonna see it.
No.
You're not gonna feel it either.
Somebody will pass you and say, hey, your tire's flat.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, guys, that's pretty much the list I have. I don't know if you want to go over any more on
I got one thing I'd like to
Return.
tell you that is when you're backing your trailers into a parking spot, make sure you always pull it forward a little bit to relieve the flex on your axles.
Oh,
And
yeah,
on
yeah,
your
yeah.
wheels. Make sure you always do that. I mean that's a killer. I mean when you're backing this thing in and you're jackknifing it, that wheel is going just like this. You can watch it, you're gonna see it flexing. Make sure you always pull it out straight and back it in nice and straight. It helps with your alignment issues also, so keep that pressure off the back of the tires. Yes.
This gentleman touched on nitrogen. Can you, do you have to put nitrogen back in there?
no.
I mean, you can mix the two. Sometimes, you know, I'm a little low, put air in, because I just don't have, gas stations don't have it.
You can't get a full 100% mix
No.
into a tire. You can't deflate it enough, you know, to totally devoid it of air and then come back with nitrogen. You'll fill it, relieve it, you'll fill it again, relieve it, then fill it, and it'll be 85, 90%.
Yeah.
Purge, just purge it out.
Nitrogen, there's nothing wrong with it. We don't totally promote it. But if you do have nitrogen in, you can put
Air wood.
service station air, whatever air in it, definitely.
Most
But
places do not have
nitrogen is what I've noticed. You get more wear out of your tire using it, which I have noticed on my pickups, on motorcycles. I get more miles and good rotation. You know, but nitrogen helps keep the tire cool, 'cause- and you don't have to. It doesn't fluctuate like air does.
As much, correct. Correct.
I mean, it does 3 or 4 pounds, but not
Most
like
people,
air.
most people, and you just said it here a second ago, that do nitrogen, they're aware of what's going on. And you said rotations. You maintain your vehicle. That's why you're getting the mileage.
Well,
It
yeah.
is partly because of the nitrogen, but you're aware of what's going on. You know what, you know, so you maintain it. That's why you're getting the tire where you do.
Yeah.
It's maintenance.
Oh yeah.
It's being aware of what needs to be done to your vehicle to maintain it. Definitely. You can go put nitrogen in your car and forget about it. You're not gonna get what you're getting out of your vehicle.
No, you gotta rotate.
You're taking care of it.
I'm pretty sold on
Yep.
77,000, you know, right in that
Yep.
ballpark, if I can.
Is there any negative to using that?
Not to our knowledge.
Because the way you said you don't totally promote
No,
it, so I just.
the reason we don't promote it,
Just another thing to watch.
$9,500 per shop to put it in our shops. We have 45 stores. You know, that's really what it is. Part of our system, our western stores have had nitrogen for years. The benefit is there to a point, but if you maintain it, you maintain your pressures, don't see enough positive to, if there's no negative.
Now, one last
And
question.
it is an upsell too. I mean, they charge
Well, a
more
lot
to
of
do it.
our units are coming from the factory
Yep.
with the sticker right above the wheels and ring caps on and say they have nitrogen in here flat.
Yep.
So I just wonder if there's any negative at all.
Nope, no negative that we know of.
Okay.
I mean, airline tires, big jets, they run nitrogen in those tires because of the heat,
Yep.
and it doesn't fluctuate.
Well, heat and cold, it's
Yeah. The weather.
make it cold up there.
Now, the last question I have is it by the tire manufacturer, or is there a certain amount of time, going back to what we talked about in the beginning with the age of the tire, on a 2-year-old tire that has really sat for almost 2 years? You know, a lot of people will put brand new tires on their trailer, and then it'll sit there for 2 years and won't even be moved. They'll get in it and roll, and think, oh, I got a brand new tire. And I just got a feeling that there's some,
It is an issue.
yeah, but
5 is the max. I mean, that's kind of the,
Yeah, you know what? I know I sell tires for a living,
okay,
but on my boat and my trailer, I do 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah. And
Regardless of-
yeah, don't matter.
Okay.
It does not matter.
If I change out all 8 tires on the motorhome, can I bring in a farm truck and swap them and feel fairly comfortable and run them
You know,
on the farm
I wouldn't have a problem with it. I mean, seriously, we'd have to look at them, just make sure they're not.
I wouldn't put them on the stern axle,
Yeah.
I'd farm truck.
Yeah.
Correct.
Put them on the driver's
Sure.
seat.
Yeah, just want to make sure they're not really weather bad, you know. I mean, there's some of them you can see a crack that big in them, you know, that have been on there since '89, you know.
I think wheel covers is what I need to get. That'll
Well,
help.
It
you
does
know.
help, but it is just the ozone. You can't prevent that. It's just sitting. It's dry rock. Yeah, it's been around since tires.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the way it is. We do promote 5 years. Somebody pulls up with a trailer, the tires are 5 years old. We're gonna ask that they replace them and force them. We're just gonna ask.
Even if they look good.
Yeah, and they're gonna.
And they really will look good, most of them. You know.
And we immediately will pull the DOT off of them, so they're not serviceable, nobody can use them, and they're junk. We don't keep them for use, they're
Yeah,
gone.
we don't even sell a used tire over 4 years old, period. So,
You just kind of, the odds are something's gonna happen. Doesn't mean it always will, but you know, when you talk about a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 repair because that tire came apart and did some damage up on the back.
save $20.
Yeah.
Glenn, Steve, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll talk about tire covers here in just a few minutes with you. That's all we got. Unless you guys have any more questions. Here.
Thanks, Travis. Yeah, we can answer anything.
Thank you for coming. Thank you very much.
thank you.